generating bodhicitta by reflecting on the Buddha's immense kindness. Why should we remember the Buddha's immense kindness? Contemplating the Buddha's kindness. Since his initial generation of the body-mind, Shakyamuni Buddha practiced the bodhisattva path and endured immeasurable suffering over countless kalpas for our sake. From the moment the Buddha first generated bodhicitta, he practiced the bodhisattva path for us throughout countless kalpas. Without the Buddha's initial generation of bodhicitta, we would not have the opportunity to hear the Dharma today. Due to the tremendous merits we have accumulated over countless lifetimes, we have the fortune to sit here. Reflecting in this way, how long have we been receiving the Buddha's kindness? From the moment the Buddha first generated bodhicitta, he has been extending his compassion to us. The Buddha's mind has been with us. After generating bodhicitta, the Buddha constantly thought of us, dedicating even the smallest merits to us. Every merit is beneficial to us. How much more so is the continuous dedication performed over countless kalpas. In our Dharma Centre, when someone's children, parents, or other family members fall ill or face obstacles, they come to consult me. I tell them, practice earnestly and dedicate the merits to them. These family members might be ignorant, perhaps due to illness, lack of faith, or even intellectual disability. When we practice earnestly and dedicate the merits to them, we can help them. The Buddha also followed this approach. From the moment he aroused bodhicitta, he continuously dedicated merits to sentient beings. Novice bodhisattvas who have a karmic connection with us can also dedicate merits to us, bless us, and help our roots of virtue gradually grow. From the initial generation of bodhicitta, the Buddha diligently practiced the bodhisattva path. To practice the perfection of generosity alone, he has offered his body and life countless times. In his quest for the Dharma, he once peeled his skin for paper, split his bones for pens, and drew his blood for ink to transcribe scriptures. To benefit us, the Buddha endured innumerable hardships over countless kalpas. Even an ocean of ink could not record the precepts he has upheld, the patience he has cultivated, the diligence he has practiced, the samadhis he has entered, and the wisdom he has realized. Because he has generated bodhicitta, he strives for Buddhahood for us. When we commit wrongdoing, the Buddha teaches us with skillful means out of compassion, yet we are too ignorant to accept it. As we can see this in ourselves or those around us, we are too ignorant to accept the Buddha's teachings. When we fall into hell, the Buddha is full of sorrow and pain. He wishes to bear our suffering, but our heavy karma prevents us from being rescued. When we are human, the Buddha uses skillful means to teach us how to plant the roots of virtue. Life after life he guides us, unwilling to abandon us for a single moment. When we commit negative karma, the Buddha compassionately teaches us through various skillful means. However, we are too ignorant to accept it. When you fall into hell, the Buddha never rejects us. Because of his bodhicitta, he wishes to bear our suffering. Yet our karma binds us so tightly that even the Buddha cannot save us. He can only wait. Buddhas and bodhisattvas with unwavering bodhicitta are waiting for us. They are always patient, awaiting the right causes and conditions to save us. When we are human, the Buddha skillfully guides us to plant the roots of virtue. Life after life, he stays with us, never abandoning us for even a single moment. Please keep these teachings in mind. During meditation, contemplate how the Buddha generated bodhicitta for our sake. When he first aroused bodhicitta in his past lives, we were ignorant beings, perhaps an ant or a pig. At that time, the Buddha had just generated bodhicitta, just as we are doing now. We aspire to help all sentient beings connected to us, our relatives, friends, our dog or pig, an ant we come across, or animals we save. We dedicate merits to them and recite scriptures for them. Moreover, those who have newly generated bodhicitta don't abandon their loved ones in hell. They dedicate merits to them and aspire to rescue them. Contemplate in this way during sitting meditation. Without such reflection, gratitude cannot arise. From the moment the Buddha generated bodhicitta, he helped us in this way, life after life, until his enlightenment. Even now, as a Buddha, he does not forsake us. The Buddha has the perfect power to benefit beings. His wisdom perceives all sentient beings throughout the vast expanse of space. According to the circumstances of those to be saved, he spontaneously manifests in various forms. When the Buddha liberates beings, he spontaneously manifests in various forms depending on the time and conditions. Timing and conditions are crucial. In other words, the Buddha knows who is in misfortune, who is suffering, and who is ready to be guided. He observes the entire world at all times. When a being becomes ripe for liberation, the Buddha does not delay even for an instant. This is the Buddha's wisdom. When causes and conditions ripen, he never postpones his help. Hence, we see that as sentient beings, we are always embraced by the Buddha's compassion. From the moment we have built a connection with him, we have never been apart from his grace, not even for an instant. Sometimes the Buddha manifests as those around us to help us. Sometimes he appears in our dreams to inspire our faith. Sometimes when evil thoughts arise in us, he awakens our conscience. Manifesting as those around us means the Buddha may assist us invisibly by blessing the people in our lives. When someone around you helps you and it feels miraculous, it is actually the functioning of the vows of the Buddhas and bodhisattvas. In the long, dark samsara, the Buddha has guided us countless times. Whenever the conditions for liberation ripen, he never delays, not even for a moment. When the right time and conditions arise, he does not postpone his help. The Buddha has given all the blessings and help he can. The sutras state that the Buddha's great compassion is free from attachment and obstruction. It arises continuously, accomplishes spontaneously, and increases boundlessly. It pervades all worlds and penetrates the hearts of all sentient beings. Therefore, the Buddha's mind is constantly caring for us. In daily life, if someone takes care of us, we feel grateful. If a friend always remembers us and cares for our daily life, sustenance, and living needs, we will consider them greatly kind. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are just like this, but we are too ignorant to recognize it. Unlike worldly people who would make sure you know after offering help, the Buddha, with great wisdom, expects nothing in return. When the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas help us, they don't notify us, nor do they need to. They can manifest as intangible forces, blessing other beings and various conditions to care for us. Of course, we should remember the Buddha's kindness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions and 3 times constantly protect and care for us with compassion. We should reflect on their kindness thoroughly. Only through such explanations can we recollect their kindness. Without the teachings of the masters and teachers, we cannot generate such gratitude. Due to ignorance, ordinary beings don't recognize the Buddha's kindness. Through comparison, we can perceive it. When the Buddha appeared in the world, we were in the mire. Now that we are human, the Buddha has already entered nirvana. How much wrongdoing must we have committed that we were born in this declining period of the Dharma? What merits must we have accumulated that we have renounced worldly life? What obstacle prevents us from meeting the Buddha's golden body? How fortunate we are to be able to pay homage to his relics. This Buddha refers to Buddha Shakyamuni. When Buddha Shakyamuni appeared in this world, we were likely beings in the lower realms. Although the Buddha has entered nirvana and it is now the degenerate age, we are fortunate to be born as humans and have the opportunity to become monastics. Isn't this the Buddha's blessing? An ancient master said, "When the Buddha appeared, I was in the mire. When I was born as a human, the Buddha had entered nirvana. How pitiful that my karmic obstacles are so heavy. They prevent me from beholding the Tathagata's golden form." This verse expresses a sense of shame and sorrow, a longing for the Buddha. It would have been best to be the Buddha's monastic disciple, but we didn't have such merit. When the Buddha arrived in this world, we were likely animals, trapped in delusion and attachment. Now, in this degenerate age, we have the fortune to hear the Dharma and devote our lives to practice. All this is due to the Buddha's kindness. We should rejoice deeply. We wear the monastic robes blessed by the Buddha, take on the appearance of a pure practitioner like the Buddha, uphold the precepts he established. recite the sutras he expounded, reflect on his sacred teachings, prostrate to his holy images, visualize his marks and features, recollect his virtues, chant his mantras and names, propagate his teachings, and strive to attain his qualities. Wherever we go, we receive offerings, and even a fragment of our monastic robes is revered by gods and humans. All these excellent conditions and blessings flow from the Buddha's grace. Though we did not have the fortune to be the Buddha's direct disciples, our current circumstances are entirely due to the Buddha's kindness. The Buddha blesses us, helping our roots of virtue to grow. Reflect on this. Without the past roots of virtue, how could we have the opportunity to learn the Dharma? Without learning the Dharma, how could we recognize the Buddha's kindness? His kindness and benevolence are greater than a mountain. Without planting roots of virtue, we would not have the opportunity to listen to the Dharma. So, where do these roots of virtue come from? They arise from the Buddha's dedication, his constant care, and his blessings for us. The Buddha also creates the conditions for our roots of virtue to sprout and grow. Through various skillful means, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas help us strengthen our roots of virtue, allowing us to hear the Dharma today. Generating Bodhicitta to repay kindness. If we don't generate the great aspiration to practice the Bodhisattva path, propagate the Dharma, and liberate all beings, then even if we were to crush our bodies, how could we repay this kindness? This is the first cause and condition for generating the body-mind. If we don't follow the Buddha's example, if we don't generate bodhicitta, practice the Bodhisattva path, and strive to uphold the Dharma and liberate beings, then even grinding our bodies to dust would not be enough to repay the Buddha's kindness. We must generate vast resolve to carry out the Buddha's mission. The Buddha aspires to propagate the Dharma and liberate sentient beings. To repay his kindness, we should protect and uphold the Dharma, spreading it where it is absent and supporting it where it is present. Moreover, we should strive to benefit sentient beings. Even planting a single seed of virtue in one being's mind is our responsibility. Only by propagating the Dharma and liberating sentient beings can we align with the Buddha's heart and bring him joy. If we carry out the Buddha's activity, he will rejoice. Each of us should take up the responsibility of propagating the Buddha's teachings. Though this is the degenerate age, we must dedicate ourselves fully to the Buddha's mission to repay his kindness. Reflect on this. Every root of virtue that arises in our mental continuum comes from the Buddha. The Buddha has shown us immense kindness. Without generating the Buddha's resolve, carrying out his activity, liberating sentient beings, and practicing or propagating the Dharma, how can we ever repay the Buddha's boundless grace? Therefore, generating bodhicitta is the only way to repay the Buddha's kindness. The Flower Ornament Sutra states, even if one were to bear the Buddha on one's head for kalpas as numerous as atoms, or offer one's body as a seat throughout the Trichiliocosm, without expounding the Dharma to liberate beings, one cannot repay the Buddha's kindness. Suppose someone carried the Buddha on their head for kalpas as numerous as dust motes, or covered the entire universe with their body as the Buddha's seat. If they don't explain the Dharma to guide beings, they still cannot repay the Buddha's kindness. In the Surangama Sutra, Ananda made this vow, I shall offer this profound mind to realms as numerous as atoms. This is called repaying the Buddha's kindness. Dedicate this bodhicitta to every being in as many worlds as dust motes. This is what it means to repay the Buddha's kindness.